Okay. Good morning, students. Today, I would like to explain the next topic from the unit number 1, that is transverse vibrations. So here there are some equations are there. You have to just derive that small equations for further uh, use that equations into the numericals to solve numericals. So first is transverse vibrations. Students, we know that in the shaft or in a disc which moves approximately perpendicular to the axis of the shaft, then that vibration is called as transverse vibration. So the diagram shows some single straight and that diagram shows the bar which deflects some distance. That means that dotted portion means there is a deflection, and mean position means while it is in its initial position. So in such a cases the shaft is straight and bent alternately, hence bending stresses are induced in the shaft. Next, natural frequency of free transverse vibrations. So consider one shaft having negligible mass, that is shown in figure, and whose one end is fixed and the other end carries a weight, that is weight W. That weight is nothing but we know that is equal to mass M, W equal to M into G. And again the diagram we have drawn for natural frequency of free torsional vibrations. So here when that mass vibrates at its mean position, means here we have drawn its weight mass having acting forces kx and mx double dot, and the deflection delta is nothing but deflection, and x is the distance between the neutral axis or mean position to the axis of the position of weight after time t. So in this diagram, k is nothing but stiffness of the shaft, w, you know that w is weight, m is nothing but mass of the shaft, mass of the body, delta static deflection due to weight, x is nothing but displacement at x, here x is nothing but displacement of the body from its mean position after time t. Next, we know that the restoring force here is k into x, and accelerating force is minus m into x double dot, minus m because it acts towards downward direction. We know that x double dot, that is derivative d square x upon dt square, that is second derivative. So as per the Newton's second law of motion, we know that accelerating force is equal to restoring force, that is minus m x double dot equal to kx that is mx double dot plus kx equal to 0. So divide by m to the both sides of equation, we get finally x double dot plus k by m into x equal to 0. So while comparing this equation with the equation of simple harmonic motion, you know that SHM equation is omega n square equal to k by m, or omega n equal to under root of k by m radian per second. But omega n, that is equal to 2 pi into fn, or fn, that is natural frequency, equal to omega n upon 2 pi in terms of hertz, or we can write it in terms of fn equal to omega n into 1 upon 2 pi. We know that from equation A, omega n is nothing but under root of k by m. Just put value of equation of omega n into this equation, we get finally natural frequency equation is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of k by m in terms of hertz, and we call this equation as equation B. Students, next we know that the stiffness can be written as k equal to w by delta. We know that weight having w equal to mg and delta is deflection. So substituting the above value or equation above value in equation number B, that is Fn equal to 1 upon 2 pi. We know that under root k by m, k is nothing but mg by delta. So from this equation mm gets cancelled, and finally equation becomes Fn equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of g by delta, or Fn equal to 0.4985 upon under root of delta hertz. So this equation is for natural frequency of torsional transverse vibration. Next and important topic is torsional vibration. So what is meant by torsional vibration, students? When the particle of shaft or disc move in a circle about the axis of the shaft, then the vibrations are called as torsional vibrations. For example, so in this case, in this torsional vibration, the disc or shaft is twisted and untwisted alternately. Due to this, torsional shear stresses are produced in the shaft. Next topic is natural frequency of free torsional vibrations. So consider from the diagram, consider a uniform shaft of negligible mass rigidly fixed at the one end, and other end carries a disc as shown in figure. So figure shows uniform shaft having masses attached, and the shaft diameter is d and L is the length of the shaft, and this diagram is for torsional pendulum. So from this diagram we know that let I equal to mass moment of inertia, m is nothing but mass of the disc, k is nothing but radius of gyration of disc, kt torsional stiffness of shaft, and theta is nothing but angular displacement of the shaft from its mean position at any instant in radians. So if again we show now a diagram for equivalent system and free body diagram of that pendulum, torsional pendulum. If the disc is given an angular displacement theta about the axis of the shaft, it starts vibrating in the torsional plane about the axis of the shaft. That is means the diagram shows the BD and equivalent system of the given torsional pendulum having theta angular displacement, L is the length, kt is nothing but torsional stiffness, and that when that disc twisted at an angle theta, it gets deflected from point A to A dash, and here for angular displacement theta we know that accelerating torque equal to I d square theta upon dt square, that is equal to I theta double dot, that is it is clockwise, and restoring torque equal to kt, that is torsional stiffness into angular displacement theta, and it is acting along anti-clockwise direction. So the restoring torque or couple is developed due to the stiffness of the shaft. Means from Newton's second law of motion we have accelerating torque equal to restoring torque. Again here accelerating torque is positive, that is I theta double dot, because it is acting clockwise, and restoring torque here it is negative because it is acting anti-clockwise, that's why it is minus kt into theta, and we get equation as I theta double dot plus kt theta equal to 0. So divide this equation by I, we get theta double dot plus kt upon I into theta equal to 0. So denote this equation as a equation number 1. But the fundamental equation of simple harmonic motion is x double dot plus omega square x. This equation is for longitudinal vibration, and similarly theta double dot plus omega square theta. This equation is for torsional vibration. So by comparing the equations, above equations, that is theta double dot plus omega square theta equal to 0 with theta double dot plus kt upon I into theta equal to 0. So from these two equations you can analyze omega square equal to kt upon I, or omega is equal to under root of k suffix t upon I, or omega n equal to under root of kt by I in terms of radians per second. So call this equation as equation number 2 and just put this equation number 2 into the natural frequency equation. We know that natural frequency Fn equal to omega n upon 2 pi. We know that omega n is nothing but under root of kt by I. So just put these equations omega n into equation number 3. We get the equation for natural frequency equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of kt upon I in terms of hertz. But students, we know that the torsional stiffness kt is equal to, it is the ratio of torque to the angular deflection, that is capital T upon theta. But we know that torsional equation is T by J equal to G theta by L, and we just rearrange this equation as T by theta equal to Gj by L. Again we have T by theta means what? Torsional stiffness. So we just write this equation as kt equal to T by theta is equal to Gj by L Newton meter per radian. Or we have omega n equal to under root of kt by I. So just put kt term equal to G into J by L, means we get or we have natural frequency equation equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of kt by I. We know that kt is nothing but kt by I, 1 upon 2 pi under root of kt by I, means that omega n is nothing but here Fn equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of Gj upon IL in terms of hertz, where G is nothing but modulus of rigidity of shaft material in terms of Newton per meter square. J is nothing but polar moment of inertia in terms of meter raised to 4, that is pi by 32 d raised to 4, that is for solid shaft. And for hollow shaft, polar moment of inertia is pi by 32 outer diameter raised to 4 minus inner diameter raised to 4. Here again d is nothing but diameter of solid shaft, and DO and DI, these are the outer and inner diameter of hollow shaft, and L is length of the shaft. Thank you.